recognize people. I mean, you have to be open-minded about, not set, not a saying, well, this guy can do it, this guy can't already.
Right now, it's just really good to have all the guys back. Everybody's back and healthy. And obviously, it's day one. This is my first chance to get a first eye view of what they've been doing. The guys are actually a little smarter than what they were in the spring. They understand the offense a little bit more. So those guys have been able to come out and show that the first day that they've learned and they're ready. But we'll really tell what these guys can do when they put the pads on here in a few days.
What does Marcus Pickett, what's he look like? What can you expect from him?
Justice Pickett. Justice Pickett, smart kid. I mean, you can tell he's definitely not a kid that's his first time. You can tell he's been at a major program, very smart. Was able to pick up protections and different things that we do from the run blocking scheme. So now it's just him getting the rust off, from the adjustment, the tempo, the speed that we play at. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does, but hopefully he can add some depth and some maturity to the running back.
Is he cleared to play now?
Right now there's still a few things that we're working out, but we're still counting his reps and giving him a chance to do a few things. But right now we're going to give him some reps as if he's going to be able to help us this year.
Coach Jones talked about retention and picking up where you left off in the spring. Did you see some of that today?
I did. Like I said, these guys are a little more confident now. I think in the spring they were just getting used to the tempo of it and trying to get the plays and trying to figure out where to line up. Now they know where to line up. I think it's going to give them more confidence and allow them to play faster.
Not just the players, but it seemed like the coaches were picking up the intensity as well today.
Well, I can only speak for myself. I actually came 4 days before the spring started. So I just basically learned, the offense and just enough to get those guys going. But this offseason, I was able to dig in a little bit more and understand all the ins and outs of it, and that helped me be able to teach these guys now going into the fall.
Robert, from your perspective, what was the effort like today? Only the first day, but what was the effort like?
Great effort. I think these kids have done a great job in the offseason in the weight room, and I think today they were proud to go out there and show how their conditioning is going to allow them to be better football players. So, the intensity was good. We have great kids here at Tennessee, as coaches, we want these guys to have success because they're such good kids.
What's the next step for Alden Hill and Rajon Neal? They're both here all spring. I guess what are you going to be looking for these first couple of days?
I want to see the guys compete. I want to see them. Obviously, I want them to be great friends off the field, but I want those guys to be great competitors on the field. I want those guys to have a nasty edge to them when they come and have to compete for playing time.
Yeah. So what are your benchmarks? I guess I know no pads the first couple of days, but you guys harp so much on just being tough runners in spring. Is that kind of where you pick off of?
Yeah. Obviously the first few days without pads on, you just want to see the fundamentals. You just want to make sure these guys can get the calls from the sideline, have great communication and pass protection. Just do the little things. But when the pads come on, I think that's when you tell the true grit of a running back, especially in this league. So both of those guys understand that in this league and with the offensive line that we have to be guys that can fit it up in there and get the tough 3 or 4 yards. So we'll be able to see that here in a week.
What was Marlon's attitude like just to be back?
Great attitude. Obviously excited to be back. He took care of some things off the field, and he's kind of snapped and cleared it. He's got to put that in the past, and the guys are excited he's back. As a coaching staff, we're glad that he's back, and we'll just work him in slowly, and he has to work his way back up to the top.
Just being around him this summer, does he seem like he's put that behind him and that he's kind of turned a new page?
You know what? Marlon's always had a great attitude. He's a kid. Sometimes kids do things that as adults we have to sit down and talk to them and make sure they grow from it. And I think it was just one of those situations. But nobody on our staff ever gave up on him. His teammates didn't. Once Coach Jones saw it was fit for him to come back to the team, he did, and he's been doing a great job since then.
Whether Justice Pickett's available this year or next year, what do you think he brings to the table with ACC experience?
You know what? He's a kid with experience. It's almost like taking a junior college guy. He's a guy that obviously, he's a walk-on guy. So he's a hungry kid right now that's trying to prove that he deserves to be a guy on scholarship. So, he's a guy that's been in games. He started as a freshman at his last school. So he's a guy that comes in with some game time experience, which actually helps our group. We only have 2 guys that really have a lot of game experience, I think. So that puts Justice right there about 3rd as far as amount of plays he's played.
How tough is it to judge your guys, in particular without pads?
Very tough. The main thing we judge the first couple of days are just the fundamentals. Can guys get lined up, what kind of condition that they're in, how they communicate when they're tired. But the true benchmark and telltale of a running back is what he does when his pads are on. How does he bang and how does he grind and how does he fall forward after runs and after contact. So, but today it's critical for us to test these guys' conditioning. to test the X's and O's and see can they get lined up and play at the tempo we want them to play at.
Did you feel like they did that?
Did a pretty good job. I mean, it's obviously never as bad as you think, so hopefully when we put the tape on, we see some good things, but I'm quite sure there are going to be a lot of things on the tape that we can coach off of, which is great. Obviously day one, it's going to be good to be able to go in there and kind of break the kids down a little bit, and as it goes on, we can build them back up. These guys have been doing a great job working on their own, and obviously today was the first day as coaches. We got a chance to see some of the things they've been doing, some good, some bad, and we'll be able to coach off of it on tape.
Dan McCullers said Alden Hill and Rajon Neal both squatted over 600 pounds. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man. Lawson and our strength staff have done a great job getting these guys ready. These guys had career max numbers, and so it's good to know that you got guys in the group that are strong runners. Now we just got to translate it and put it to the football field. They have to be 600-pound squatters with the ball in their hand on 4th and 1, and that's what's going to make us a great football team.
I'm Dave with the training, by the way.
Hi, Dave.
Good to meet you.
I'm sure you've been asked a couple of these already, but McFarland getting back out there, what did you see from them? Obviously, it's going to be a big part of the spring and everything.
A kid that's hungry to get back. He's excited about being back. As a staff, we're excited to have him back. He's fresh legs. He's a guy with a lot of playing experience. He's a guy that can make plays in space. So we're excited to get him back. Going to work him back in slowly. He has to fight to earn his way back to the top.
So you have seen a different kind of, hunger for at least one day?
You know what? It's not just one day. I mean, it's been the whole time. I've seen him throughout the office building, him going to watch tape on his own, him coming asking me questions in my office, calling me during the summer. So he's always had a good attitude, but you could tell that he's excited to be back. Still got to work to get back in playing shape, but I think today for the first day he did a pretty good job.
I know spring was kind of hectic for all you guys. You got here not long before spring practice started, so they were, kind of getting used to you probably a little bit. Do you see a lot of carryover from what you taught them in the spring?
I do. I do. Like I said, I hadn't been able to work with them from a physical standpoint or a mental X and O standpoint, but just the time away for them to get to know me, to know what kind of coach I am and what I expect, and kind of laugh at some of the things I said to them during the spring, and making them understand why I was the way I was. And I think that's going to allow them to be better football players, to understand how I am and what I expect. So, just I think that's going to carry over during fall camp, and then we'll continue to build off that. But like I said, it's a good group of kids. As coaches, we want those guys to have success because they work so hard.
So you can tell now they get you a little better. Like in the spring, they're maybe reacting a little weird.
I think they do. I think kids never want to know how much you know until they know how much you care. So I think now they understand me. They understand my attitude, my demeanor, what I expect. They can complete sentences before I say them. They imitate me a little bit. So those are the things that you know that you're doing the right things because they remember you. So I think that's the part that's going to help us be a better group and a better team.
Last thing, I guess we haven't talked to you since Justice Pickett was added to the roster. What have you, for one day, what do you see from him? I know he's a guy who's not going to, we don't know yet, I guess.
Good kid. Obviously you can tell he's played football before. He was able to pick up on the protections and different things in the blocking scheme, because he's been in another offense. I mean, he's played a lot of snaps at a high level, so if he's cleared to play, which we should find out here soon, he'll be a guy that adds great depth to us in the backfield.
Coach, how does the fast pace that you guys play affect your substitution?